The size of my active client pool has doubled.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
My price point in my offer in my program has grown by 50%. So I've raised my prices by 50% since working with you. And also I think really just the efficiency in, again, getting new group members into the group and also processing them, getting them into conversation and then converting them into clients have been some of the most tangible and measurable results I've seen.
Hey there, and welcome to this Fearless Coach Academy case study interview. Today, I get to interview a really good friend and a client of ours, Matt Sinkovitz. Matt, man, I've been looking forward to connecting with you about this for a while, man. So I appreciate you doing this. Why don't we start by just having you share a little bit about you and your business, kind of, what kind of clients do you coach, what problems do you solve, and how does all that work?
Sure, brother. Thanks so much for having me here, Peter. It's an honor to be interviewed here today. So I'm a porn abstinence accountability coach, and I help men with the problem of ending their habit of watching porn. And I love to work with my ideal client are committed fathers and husbands who are really committed to the process, as well as impact-driven entrepreneurs.
What a powerful niche to serve. It's a painful problem today, right? There's a lot of distractions and a lot of stress and anxiety, and whether it's alcohol or porn or other things where men, women, like everyone is going to almost sedate in a way. So I just want to acknowledge you, Matt, for doing this work, especially since it's not an easy topic to talk about. There's sometimes shame around it. There's sometimes embarrassment around it. And it's a sensitive subject. We've talked about that before. So to know that you've chosen this as your calling to serve and to support men going through this, and the ripple effect that has in their families and in their souls and everything like that. I just want to say it's amazing to support you on the journey, man. I believe what you're doing.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So why don't we start to the beginning? Because we've been working together for a while. Where was your business at when we first started, when you first joined Fearless Coach Academy, in terms of like the clients you were working with or the income that was being generated? Where were you when we first started?
I was working with just a handful of clients. Whenever we started working together, I was really kind of just beginning to ramp up and I had just recently created my group program. So I was just kind of getting a regular kind of recurring group of guys into my group program. And I was at maybe a sale or two a month and just a couple thousand a month. So,
okay. What about systems that you had built then? Did you have like your funnels built or an audience built online yet at all?
Yeah, I was in Facebook. I did have a group going, but I had no funnels going. I had no way to automate leads, and I had no real process in place in terms of kind of really processing new group members as they came into my community and kind of working them through a process and getting them systematized in terms of the follow-up with them.
Okay. So not enough systems there, because that's kind of leading to my next question that I was curious about is like when we started, what were those biggest challenges? What was the main thing that was holding you back then?
I think the biggest challenges for me were how to automate my lead flow, how to automate group members coming into the group, and just how to make I think what I was doing more systematic. I was kind of guessing at it day to day, week to week, and I didn't have any real processes in place for it.
Oh, dude, this is a real common problem for coaches, right? Because like we don't go into coaching. I don't know about you, but I didn't get into coaching because I wanted to learn those things particularly. You know what I mean? I had to, and I needed to, and I think you've recognized that you've needed to. And there's a learning curve there because there's a lot of coaches out there that have that belief that they're just not good at technology or they don't want to learn those things. And that's a choice, right? It's not an identity, it's a choice. And if you choose that, it can become your identity. And I think you recognize where there is a way to learn things and shift your mindset and be more open-minded to learning those things to make those changes. So I just want to kind of say that that's a big shift, and I think an important shift for those watching this right now. I encourage you, if you haven't yet, to consider making that shift, because if you decide in this day and age, and I'm going to timestamp this, we call it 2021 or 2022, whenever you're watching this, to say that you're not good at tech or you're not willing to learn tech, can be a really, really slow road for you in building a coaching business. Matt, would you agree?
I would. And I got to say, I think one thing I really appreciate about your process, Peter, is it's really paint by number. I would say it does take all the tech stuff and kind of really break it down in as simplest format that I've seen out there, and as well as the support that you've got with the other coaches on your team, making troubleshooting anything that comes up, really easy to resolve.
Coach Campbell's a rock star, right? For sure.
For sure.
So thank you for that. Tell me a little bit about like the impact of that problem. I think it's important to know that, every area of our life is interconnected, right? And if we have a problem in one, it can leak into others. So when you were lacking the systems or the structure and the support that you got through this program, how is that problem impacting maybe your personal life outside of business?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was still working a full-time job whenever you and I began working together. Since then, I've been able to transition into my work full-time. So that's the big thing. I think just the certainty that was provided to me by getting the systems in place and kind of being able to create more predictability in my daily rhythms and also the outcomes.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. So certainty is important. And you're in the building phase of this business, you're doing this full time. And with that, it can feel stressful at times, right? It can feel uncertain. So to provide certainty, just that kind of excites me to know that you felt that. What were your biggest concerns or fears? So, when we first started working, I imagine you had worked with other coaches before, if I remember correctly. When we first connected, what was the biggest concern or fear about, making the investment of time, energy, and money to work with us or work with a business coach?
I think the biggest things were the tech, because I know that you do the work with the funnels and stuff like that. Can I figure all that stuff out? Yeah. And also, of course, just the investment, required in order to work with you. So, yeah.
So just for you watching, Matt, right now, and I know that if you're feeling those same feelings, you're not alone. I've always, every time at every stage, every time I hire a mentor, Matt, I'm scared. You know what I mean? I'm nervous. It's uncertain. It's all of that. And every time I've done that, I feel like I've grown a lot faster than I would have done on my own, so, yeah. Well, let's talk about the things that you've learned. So what are, 2 or 3 things that you learned from the process? Because we've worked together for, almost 8 months now. What are some of the biggest things that you learned that you felt had the biggest impact on the business?
I think for me, Peter, is really recognizing that if I take the leap, if I step out there, if I follow good support and good advice, then the results can be predictable. So again, I think it's that certainty in my business. And also I was able to get an inside perspective of how I feel a high quality program and process is run. Everything that I've experienced with you from A to Z, has been very professional, very high quality, very easy to understand, great communication. So I think one of the greatest things I received has been the perspective inside of your business and how a great operation is run. And then secondly, I think it's the predictability that I've received through the systems I've been able to put into place in terms of creating more regular group members for my program or for my community, how to communicate with those, and really how to convert those group members into prospect or into clients.
I love it. That's a lot there to unpack. So one is, I think it's important whenever you work with a mentor to model what they're doing right, and I've done that with different mentors that I've worked with. So, you've heard me say, Matt, I want you to always adopt what we're teaching and what we're doing and then adapt it as your own. And you've done that really, really effectively, which is great. That's one thing where for you watching this, if you're working with a coach, like they've gotten the result that you want, follow the system that they're providing. It blows my mind how often sometimes people will start working with somebody and then they'll continue to look outside for new shiny objects. You know what I mean?
Right.
We've been hyper focused, which has been awesome. The other thing I just want to reflect back to you is you've done the work. You've done the heavy lifting on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Like, yes, the projects and the systems are, I know, really what you came to us with, but also the structure of the things that you need to do daily and weekly. And like, you were relentless, Matt, on top of it, which is what I want to see, man. Like, you were like, listen, okay, here's what I'm doing. Is this right? Are you sure this is right? And like, there's like repetition of us having conversations on our mastermind calls or us connecting one-on-one off those calls. And you getting that support and getting that, yes, this is the path to take, or this is the new thing to try, I think also produce some results for you. So I just want to kind of reflect that back, man.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah.
And then systems. So talk to us about like the systems that you've built in the business. So you've got we call it the lead gen system, but what does that mean to you? Like what are some of those funnels that you have right now?
Well, for one has been the hand raiser posts and that kind of, I guess it's the appointment setting kind of funnel that we've been able to establish in the group. So really creating a great structure for creating videos and content inside of my community that gets people to raise their hand, then gets them easily into a funnel, which gives them the opportunity to set up an appointment with me, has been a great one. And then also a lot of support with the ads and the whole funnel that comes around that. And tied into that is also the lead magnet situation, which Anthony was able to help me develop, create a really compelling ad, and then a great funnel to get consistent flow of leads into my business. And I think those are probably the biggest ones. I also want to say the funnel of new group members coming into my group, getting them into our database, getting them on a follow-up system, and then getting them on the the new lead sequence and everything like that is also obviously a funnel and a great system. So.
Yeah. So that's a really critical piece, right? To have your people connected to you on both email and inside of a Facebook group.
Right.
Because there's so many distractions, right? And so to be on somebody's radar, some people may be ready to work with you, Matt, right away, right? If somebody has a painful enough problem, if they know that they, really want to kick this habit of watching porn, if they know that they want to make a shift there, they maybe hear your message and within the next couple of days sign up, right? Others may need a little bit longer term nurture. And so not everyone signs up right away, but to know that you've got systems to follow up, to deliver value, to deepen that relationship over time allows the next time you do a challenge for them to raise their hand, right? Especially with the nature of your coaching, man, not everyone's as comfortable as saying, yes, I have this problem and I want help with it, right?
For sure.
So yeah, that's awesome to hear. Well, let's talk about results, man. This is what kind of, I get excited about, as well. So what are some of the results that you got from implementing the different tools that we've taught and the support we've provided?
Sure. So a couple of the key things that come up for me is the size of my active client pool has doubled.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
My price point in my offer and my program has grown by 50%. So I've raised my prices by 50% since working with you. And also I think really just the efficiency in, again, getting new group members into the group and also processing them, getting them into conversation and then converting them into clients have been some of the most tangible and measurable results I've seen.
And I want to talk about that because we've talked a lot about your enrollment process, right? And we've worked on your scripting and things like that. Do you feel more comfortable and confident now in kind of how to navigate that conversation?
Yeah, 100%. I think for me, one of the biggest things is being able to, I was pretty good at the front end of it, really digging into pain and kind of where the clients want to go and kind of expanding upon that gap. But it's like, how do I articulate what I do? How do I help them see what we do? How do I articulate our process? And how do we, we kind of use that model in the enrollment program to kind of make it theirs. And, we have them draw it out and everything like that. So really, I think helping them see the value in what we do and articulating it to them in a simple and meaningful way. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Man. That's awesome. Well, who would you recommend this to? You've been in the program long enough. I'm sure you know a lot of coaches. What kind of coaches would you recommend this to? Or, what, if they were going through challenges, is there somebody in mind of who you would recommend this to? Not specifically, but generally.
Yeah, I would say if you're a coach that's maybe either part-time and you're ready to go to full-time, you're ready to take it to the next level, or maybe you've been bootstrapping your business and you've been kind of figuring it out and you're getting some results, but they're not as predictable. And you're really ready to kind of like work with a professional coach and take your business to the next level. Or maybe you're already at a respectable level, but you're ready to kind of like clean it up and cross the T's and dot the I's and make sure all the nuts and bolts are in place and make sure your systems are in place and efficient and effective and working. I would say those would all be great examples. Or I would say, even if you're a coach that's kicking ass, I think everything you have can take a lot of people to the next level.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would you say? Because if someone's considering joining Fearless Coach Academy or working with any coach, oftentimes comes, like we talked about earlier, fear or resistance or anxiety around making that commitment. For the person watching this who may be in that situation, they know they need help. They know they can't figure, they know they haven't been successful on their own. They may even consider working with us or joining Fearless Coach Academy, but they're nervous around the investment. Is there anything you would say to them?
Yeah, I would say, At some point, if you continue to do what you've always done, you're going to continue to get the results that you've been getting. So like, what's going to change if you don't make a shift? I think number two, there is something really magical. You said this to me in some of our conversation. Whenever you do take that leap of faith, whenever it's strategic and intentional, there's some support that seems to follow us. You know what I mean? And we're provided for and we're supported whenever we take the right action, I think. And I think probably the biggest takeaway would be, and I learned this from Jesse Elder, we need to become the clients that we want to have for our business. So if we're hesitant, if we're reluctant, if we're not willing to make it a commitment and going on us, how can we expect our clients to do that?
Oh man, I totally agree. Yeah, I learned that from Jesse too. I remember because I worked with him for a period of time as well. And he was like, dude, how do you expect people to hire you as a coach if you haven't worked with a coach yourself? I'm like, oh, ouch. Yeah, exactly. Totally stinger, man, for sure. So Matt, brother, I love you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this interview today. Where can people go to stay connected to you, to learn more about what you're doing?
Oh, I really appreciate that. So we do run a Facebook group right here on Facebook. It's Making Peace with Porn. So you can find us there. It's a private community of over 700 men from around the world doing this work. And you can also email me directly at makingpeacewithporn@gmail.com if you're looking for more immediate support. Find me right on Facebook as well.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, definitely connect with Matt if you feel called to. And then if you watching this want support from us at all, we'd be happy to explore if or how we can help you. A simple next step is if you're watching the recording of this, I'd love to invite you to book a call with myself or my team. We can jump on a quick 15-minute call, explore if or how we can help you, and map out a game plan for growing the coaching business. This is something where you can go implement the plan on your own if you want, or if you want help from us in implementing it, we can chat about that as well, but no pressure at all. So if you're watching the recording, if you're watching live, just shoot me a private message and say hello. And if you're watching the recording, you can scroll below the video and just book a call with us right there on the spot. Okay. So Matt, I appreciate your brother. Thank you for making time for this today. And I'm so excited to see you continue to grow and bring this message to more men and continue to grow the movement.
Honored to be here. Thanks so much for having me today, Peter.
Brother, thank you.